Part 6, Tsilindr. Content rooted in truth. That was our first tagline. Maybe it still is, maybe not. I really like it, because it's what I genuinely believe in. But yeah, it can be read as a bit pretentious. I've sat down with crew members who are currently on the Tsilindr team, and I've explained our mission as best I can. I know that every business or potential client has something that made them start doing what they do. Every musician, every restaurant, every agency, every brand has a core message. That's all I care about. Every individual has a story, and I want to go through a vetting process and interview everyone we take on as clients, because at Tsilindr, you're more than that. Pretty pictures don't matter if there isn't love and colors to go behind it. I love what I do, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I have. I want to take this love for what I do and channel it into the company to give more like-minded collaborators a platform to be seen. The media production at Tsilindr is a microphone, and I want your brand's voice to be heard. We don't jump into the next video, we cater to the client and understand what drives you first. As a director, how can I direct something which I don't fully understand myself? Empathy, sure. I can imagine everything and have the visionary concept for what your brand should look like in my head. If you want help with branding, we're here, I can do that too. But then it's coming to the understanding together of what the brand should be, not what it already is. This is about coming together and creating something beautiful from a core understanding. Before I got to this point, I had to understand Tsilindr myself, and I spent a long time thinking and making sure what we were, what I wanted, and how to present it in the best way possible. Just as we vet our clients, I vetted myself to be sure I knew what I wanted as well. Self-reflection is a key thing here, as is self-awareness. We're just starting out, and as I write this, or as I speak this, we have a backlog of beautiful content I'm so proud of, but it's still very much early days yet. Figuring out whether or not we find a specific niche was interesting, because my brain doesn't work like that at all. I want to do so many things, and certain ones will come to fruition in due time. Currently, we're very heavily tailored to take on musicians for either music films or gig videos. I love artists, so of course this was bound to happen. I love every music video I've done, and I can't wait to create more. But we do more than that. With our mission focused on our content being rooted in truth and love, we can apply it to anyone who has branding needs. We have a great crew behind us, some of the most talented people I've worked with, whether it's my set or not. I can only do so much, and I'm grateful to be able to have a team of such trustworthy people to call on. So many of my past sets, I've been extremely happy with the crew, and as we progress and grow as a production company, it just gets stronger with each project. With Collision, I wasn't just happy, I was honestly blown away at the talent we were collectively surrounded by. I've never worked with such a consistently amazing crew, and I know everyone believed in the project. Love from the core yields spectacular results. I found that I much prefer running larger crews for the most part. I've seen both sides of it. People get stretched thin, and things slip through the cracks if the crew's too small. There's a reason there's hundreds of people on some sets. If you want to be efficient, every role completed requires an individual to see it through. A colleague of mine once made the analogy that shooting film is similar to building a house, except under a much shorter notice. Laying bricks perfectly one after the other while the electricians and plumbers come through as well at the same time, choreographing every movement and placement. It takes a team, and I love working with talented people to make a vision reality. It's all about the vision, and it's all about trust. I would rather be in a position where there's 20 people on some project I'm directing and they can all be trusted to do their respective jobs, so all I have to do is focus on the vision and creativity, especially on set, as opposed to being on a tiny crew where maybe there's more control, but film is collaborative, and you can't be perfect or have the time for everything. It's my job, and the producers of course, to know the positions to be filled and what is required, to fill them in with the appropriate crew members and to trust them to deliver fantastically. It's also my job to fill in the cracks, because even if it's 20 people, there's always a job needing done. I'm very much a visual director, which definitely helps when conveying what should happen. My background in cinematography helps me say what I want and pass it on to a director of photography whom I trust to see it through and make it their own. And ideally we work together to make the visuals even better. I love cinematography, but it's a whole nother career path, and I personally find my directing skills stronger. When it's a smaller shoot, I get to indulge in things like being the self-shooting lighting director. I love cameras and operating as well. I just love directing performance so much more. Lights and lenses and angles and movements are all science that adds up to art. But if you have a basic knowledge of lighting, I don't find it difficult to achieve an aesthetic or cinematic look. It's absolutely art, and I could talk about motivation for certain ways of lighting and why to use certain focal lengths in varying situations for days, but it's still rooted in some basic laws that will and won't work. The reason I love directing actors or performers is because it's rooted in emotion, and if you didn't hear, I love emotion. You can direct cinematography through emotion, and that's my point as a visual director. Let the cinematographer create that side of the art. Lights don't talk back, people do, and I love that. I can have a serious demeanor sometimes, especially on set, but when something's really good, like that feeling you're watching the action happen and you just know this bit will make the final cut, or when the performers just get it, I always have a massive grin. I love the human element, the variables that come with it, and the overall emotion. Like if you have a line in a script, and you imagined it one way in your head since the beginning, but the actor says it and it's not quite what you imagined, is it better? That can happen, especially if they understand the emotion. They have fresher eyes, and that can bring so much newness to the table. Maybe it isn't better. So we'll try it again. Except it's as if this happened. Awesome. Nailed it. Print, moving on.